Thank you, Chairwoman, for allowing me to ask questions, and thank you for hosting this hearing. You know, President Eisenhower was from Kansas, grew up in my district, and he used to say that farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from a cornfield. And there's a lot of truth in that. I think, you know, we're having a lot of conversations about the input side, which is what we need to be talking about, the biggest issue facing the first district of Kansas today and moving forward. I think we've got to acknowledge that, to a large degree, this is self-inflicted, meaning this irrational war on fossil fuel is the basic reason we've seen these input prices increase. It's also self-inflicted because this war against our chemicals and how modern-day agriculture works. Just makes no sense, the policies that we're pursuing. So that happens, and then things come along that may or may not be within our control, like Ukraine, that just exacerbates the problem. So I think we got to acknowledge that. You know, we all know this. Crop insurance is absolutely vital, and it does two things. It benefits farmers, but it also benefits Americans, because we've never had to rely on another country for our food supply. We get that wrong, the whole world looks entirely different. Certainly, our country looks different. And I know we've talked a little bit about this, but for you specifically, Dr. Outlaw, you know, given the ability to make some changes to crop insurance this year, and I think we need to use a scalpel and not a sledgehammer, but what specific changes would you make, would you advise that we consider making to the crop insurance program in this next farm bill?
Really, I don't have very many changes other than there's a situation right now with basically back on the ethanol situation. The USDA capped the A&O for agents, and that has caused a problem with providing insurance policies to the specialty crops, and that to me is one of those things. I'm not an expert on it, but I've been reading about it, and it's one of those things that needs to be adjusted sooner rather than later. In terms of the rest of the crop insurance products, obviously we've got a really good system in place where new policies can be developed, and the government helps policies be developed and paying for the cost, which will make it more likely. So I really can't say that there's anything else that really needs to be looked into for crop insurance, other than that A&O issue that, again, I'm not the expert on, but I know it's out there.
Okay. You know, based on recent drought monitoring indexes in Kansas, you know, we have some areas that are 10 to 15 inches behind annual rainfall this year. You know, so areas of the country, certainly severe drought, which is leading to less forage, less hay, less ability to feed for our livestock producers, who also are facing, you know, record inputs. Question for you, Dr. Rainey. Can you speak more to the value of the current risk management products available to our livestock producers?
I think that they've been enhanced recently. I still think that there is, as farmers learn of these products, I think there's opportunities for technical assistance to help enhance the understanding and how to use those products more effectively. I think that if you're going back, you were talking about in general crop insurance, I think that the metric is protection to the farmers and ranchers. And as we look, and sometimes we can look and see whether a product is being used or not, and actually just do some follow-up and feedback to get some feedback on why products aren't being used. And sometimes that's the indicator of that lack of understanding or additional work being needed to change some of the parameters of the program.
Great.
And so I think that especially, I've heard a lot of success stories from a lot of our livestock farmers in terms of the forage, in terms of drought products that have been advanced, that are really helpful as we see this enhanced issues with climate variability.
Yeah, thank you. Lastly, I just say, you know, while we're discussing these tools available to farmers and ranchers across the country, I think we also have to take a moment to discuss the impact of some of the administration's proposed changes to the tax code. Specifically, President Biden's most recent budget once again included eliminating the stepped-up basis, and also includes imposing capital gains taxes on farms, ranchers, and businesses that have been held in a family for over 90 years or more. I'm calling this the farm killer tax because it would destroy the livelihood of producers across the country. Dr. Outlaw, my last question would be for you. Have you examined the impact of changes to the tax code would have on farms and ranches, and can you expand on what an elimination of the stepped-up basis or the new farm killer tax would mean for farm country?
Yes, sir. We actually did a study at the request of Ranking Member Thompson and Senator Bozeman last year that across all of our 94 farms, 98% of them would be affected by elimination of stepped-up basis at an average cost of $750,000 extra in tax.
Yeah, once again, in my view, stepped up, or this would be, self-inflicted nonsense, and we got to make sure we don't let that happen to our ag producers. So thank you. With that, I yield back.